All right, everybody. Seems like we are live now. I'm just going to go ahead and make sure this is publishing to Facebook as well. Live. All right, we should be good in YouTube as well. So thank you everybody for being here. Looks like StreamYard is telling me that I'm live on both Facebook as well as on YouTube. So depending on where you're at, welcome. I'm excited to have you here. Today is obviously a live demo of Replen Dashboard. Let me know in the comments if you can hear me, if you can see me, if everything's working on your end. I would appreciate that. That way I know that I can go ahead and get into the demo, and we can be sure that I'm talking to everybody, that it's not just recording me or that my mic's not working or something like that. So please let me know in the comments if you can hear me, if you can see me. I would really appreciate it. Tremendously. On my end, it's a little bit different with the way that things are set up now with StreamYard. I used to be able to see the comments pulling in, but now Facebook has changed that. So if you're on YouTube and you leave a comment on as a question on the stream, then that will pull through to me. But if you're on Facebook, I'm going to have to see it on the other screen. So let's go ahead and get into it. I know that many of you that are here want to see the demo of the lead tracker, and I'm also going to be going through all of the inventory settings and just really a full demo. We haven't done this since probably, I think, 6 or 7 months ago from now. The reason is we've been working on a lot of new features actually, and so some of those things will be coming out more in the future, and you'll be seeing more videos and more content as they do come out. But right now, today, because we've had so many people sign up from the Proven Conference over the last few weeks, I wanted to be sure that I got in, made some new content for you for how do you use Replen Dashboard, how do you set up the lead tracker, and all these other things. So let me go ahead and get this pulled up. If you do have questions, I'll be sure to get to them more at the end. So you can put them in the comment section on YouTube. You can put them in the comment section on this Facebook group on the video itself. So hopefully this is something that will be helpful, and I'll be sure to get to them here at the end. All right. Now, I am going to be using a demo account excuse me, for the purposes of this video. So a lot of this information is kind of dummy data. Now, whenever I actually get to the lead tracker, I am going to be going into an active account that I have access to. It's one that my co-founder, Greg Flint, he's the developer of everything. We've got all of our leads and stuff into one account. And so I will be showing you kind of the active use cases of that. But ultimately, we're going to be using pretty much demo data so that you can see all of this information. All right, now you may notice whenever you log in here, I'm just going to go ahead to the dashboard. This is something that we're actually working on more and more. So you will be seeing more analytics in the future. This is just a basic overview of your account, product sales, profit, etc. Since this is a demo account, none of this data is accurate or pulling through, but you should see accurate data pulling through for all of these different metrics. Now, if you are brand new, it may take 24 to 48 hours to pull through all of your data. And the reason for that is simply because, obviously it takes a while to get all of that from Amazon. Now, you do have to connect your account to Amazon. The way that you would do that is typically in the onboarding process. We walk you through that. But if you actually go down to the settings, you can click on Amazon and set up those Amazon settings from there. So that way you're connected to your Amazon account. We pull in only Amazon API at this point, which is Amazon data. We do that because that's what Amazon allows. They don't allow you to connect to other platforms and also connect to theirs. And so this is the way that we pull in the data, is just strictly from Amazon. Now, the next thing that you'll notice here is there are 2 inventory sections. I understand that can be confusing. And so this is something that's also going to be fixed in the future. But we did this, and we've had this for a long time, because this is how Replen Dashboard used to be set up, was just in this inventory 1 section. And you can see, I'm going to actually click stay here. We now prompt people to proceed to inventory 2, to the new page. But I'm going to click stay here so you can just kind of see how this used to look years ago, actually. We didn't want people to lose their typical systems or how they were using the platform back whenever we switched to inventory 2. So we have this old setup. You can see it was pretty much a glorified spreadsheet back in the beginning days of Replen Dashboard. We've been around for 4 years, actually over 4 years at this point. And so there's a lot of information that we pull, and we've gotten much better with our user interface as well. So I'm gonna go ahead and click on proceed. Whenever you do that, you basically go to inventory 2. So the majority of you are gonna be using inventory 2 because this is the updated user interface, and we are continually making improvements to this as well. All right, now there is a lot of stuff that you can have access to in Replen Dashboard, and so I want you to be aware that this is something where I I don't want you to get overwhelmed by everything that you have access to. And so in this presentation, just make sure that you're kind of pulling out the bits and pieces that will be applicable to you today. Because every seller on our platform ends up having different use cases. You may be doing $100,000 a month. You may be brand new, right? And so this is an important thing, is just having some ability to see what is important for you in your business right now. All right, now there are some things here on inventory. We do have a lot of different pieces of information. I want to show you that you can actually customize what columns show up. You can do that by in the inventory 2 section. If you go up to grid option here, we click on grid option, you can click on show or hide columns. Now, these are all the columns that we actually have available to you that you can see that you could opt to have on or to turn off. And so we want to make sure that you know how to do that. And if you were to just simply remove something, it will be removed from your inventory 2 section. You can see that prep guides are no longer here. But if I go back to this grid option up there and I add prep guide, and I go back to inventory 2, now prep guide is back. So you can customize this however you want. Maybe you don't care about the 365 or 730 days, that's 1 year and 2 years of history. Maybe you don't care about that. You just care about 30, 60, and 90. You can elect to turn these others off. What I do recommend, though, sometimes, going through and seeing what other columns have been added. So for instance, if I go to the show and hide columns here, you can see that we actually now have HDOS, which is historical days of supply. That's a new thing that Amazon added about a month ago, and we added that as a column. Also, LILF is low inventory level fee, so you can see which of your products have a low inventory level fee that is being applied to your account. So if you want to try to avoid that, you can use that information as needed. So there's a lot of stuff here. MOQ is minimum order quantity if you have any wholesalers, but most everything is pretty self-explanatory on what this means. But either way, if you hover over these abbreviations, we do give you a definition for what that actually means in your account. Now, let me go ahead and go back here to inventory 2. The other thing that I want to show you with these columns is you can actually reorder them. So let's say that you want to have profit, which is currently all the way over here. Let's say you want profit actually over on the far side next to your quantity and marketplace. You could move the profit column there. That way it's much easier to see that at a glance. Okay, so that's an important thing. You can also reset the order up here. If I click on reset columns order, click on yes, and it will move it back to the same spot that we had it. All right. And so I just wanted you to see kind of the functionality that you can, utilize Replen Dashboard as in a customizable way where you can see the information exactly how you want to see it. You can see the columns that you want to see and all of that. So hopefully that makes sense for everybody. If you have any questions, again, post them in the chat and I'll get to them towards the end. Now here on the far left, we've got the select column. So you can just individually select different items if you'd like to do that. The reason for that is typically you can select items and then you can have it showing only ones that you've selected, or you can even export the information for items that you have selected if you just want those 2 products that were selected, right? So if you want to export information down to a CSV file or a Google Sheet, you can do that. And it's fairly simple to do. The next thing that you can do here, you see this little item, which is click to hide this item. You can add it as a do not show option, which you can actually, again, get back to here at the grid option. You can have items in the do not show section. Now, this is something because, Replen Dashboard initially was set up where we were tracking based off of active ASINs. And so if you didn't want it shown, it would actually, you could remove it and it wouldn't be reflected in your price. Now the pricing is straightforward. It's $7, it's $47, or it's $97, depending on your level. And so we've got those 3 pricing plans. But if you don't want something to be shown, maybe it was a clearance product, a liquidation product, something you don't have access to anymore, you can hide those items from being shown. but it still would continue to have it available if you ever wanted to re-add that back in the future. You can just do that again by simply clicking on this little button right there. Now, this next section right here is important. If you're doing replenishable products where you're buying products over and over again, then you can add items to your replen list. And so I like this because if you are buying replenishable items and you're buying clearance products, well, you can simply just check mark the ones that are replenishable. So that way, if you're trying to build a shopping list for you to repurchase in the future, you can just come up here and you can click yes for all the ones that are your replens. And that way you can be looking at the shopping list that matters for your products. If you don't utilize this, then you're just going to have to be deciphering which one of these are replens and which aren't. And so if you were buying stuff on clearance or liquidation or with a big discount that can't be replenished, then that may become a little bit cumbersome. So we wanted you to have that ability to track your replens in one easy spot. The next thing is meltable. Now, this data actually pulls directly from Amazon. Since this is a demo account, we don't have anything in here for it. But if your ASINs that you're selling are meltable at all based off of Amazon's requirements, then they will pull back automatically and they'll actually be grayed out. You can't remove them from the meltable column, but that gives you the ability as we're coming up into different selling seasons. Right now you can't sell meltable products FBA, but you can sell them FBM if you've got the right procedures in place. You could actually sort all your products by things that you won't be able to sell, or in the future when we're coming up into October, you can look at your meltable list to see what you can send in again to Amazon FBA. And so this is going to be a huge help for those of you that sell any kind of candy products or anything with like probiotics. Those are considered meltable or heat sensitive, right? So if Amazon says it's meltable, we'll automatically pull it back and not even give you the ability to remove it from being in the meltable section, because all that matters is that Amazon says it. However, sometimes Amazon can be wrong. So we give you the ability to add items to the meltable section if you'd like. And if you do that, then you'll see that it's orange instead of gray, because that means that you can edit it if you want to. And again, this is all customizable, so you can see specific lists if you wanted to. All right, I'm going to remove those. You'll also see that there's a nice little button up here for undo. If you accidentally mark something that you don't need, then you can just click the undo button and it will fix itself. So that's always nice. Now, hazmat, this is something that we aren't currently pulling from Amazon, so you will need to add items if you're doing hazmat. If you're not selling any hazmat products, then just go to that grid option, remove it as a column, and you won't have to see it. Same with type. Now, this gets a little bit more advanced, and I'm not, I don't think that I'll have time to go through all of this in today's session. This is single multi-packs or bundles. This is how you would build a multi-pack and a bundle. I'll quickly show you how this works. Essentially, every ASIN in your catalog is going to be marked as a single unit ASIN. And the reason for that is simply because we don't want to just assume that something's a bundle or a multi-pack. And a lot of people don't really care to track them. However, if you're selling a lot of bundles or multi-packs, you can track individual ASINs by, let's just say you've got two of a product. If I've got this tape measure and this flashlight and it's a bundle together, well, I can take that ASIN and say that I need one of this and one of this for my bundle. And if I want 10 units to be replenished, then it's going to say I need 10 of these individually and 10 of these individually, and then they will add them back together. So we give you the ability to build multi-packs and bundles from a replenishment standpoint in here. If I click on modify type, I can actually enter individual Amazon ASINs, and those ASINs can be tied to single units. So maybe there's an Amazon ASIN for this tape measure, and there's an Amazon ASIN for this particular flashlight. Well, if I have those individually, then they can track together in a bundle. The other thing that I can do is if there is no Amazon ASIN, then I can mark it as a non-Amazon product, in which case I can add my own SKU, I can add my own title, and it will build that based off of something that doesn't have any kind of an Amazon ASIN. So if you're somebody that has branded bundles and you have your own unique item that you apply to a lot of different products, you can this and have this one non-Amazon SKU tied to a bunch of different products. And whenever you go to replenish those, let's say it's on 5 different products, it will aggregate all 5 of those together and say that you need 50 of that unique item to be purchased for the 5 different ASINs that it's tied to, right? So it gets a little bit more advanced. We've done product demos on this before. You can go back and watch those if you'd like to see them. If you're interested in how to set up the multi-packs and bundles, there's a whole section over here for multi-packs and bundles as well. In the demo account, we only have things set up as singles because a lot of people, may or may not need those. And so that's how we have that currently set up. Now, actually, whenever you do that, it will pull over to multi-packs and bundles here. You'll be able to see the parent ASIN and then all the children ASINs. Those would be the individual products. So in the cases of the example I gave, it would be a child would be this tape measure and another child would be this flashlight. But the parent would be the actual ASIN that is tied to both of those. Okay, so that's kind of how that works. The next section here is prep guide. So if you're someone that has multiple team members that are prepping products for you, then this is very helpful because you can create systems in your business based off polybag size, box size, if you need craft paper or bubble wrap. All of this information you can put on here. You can even put in an average prep time. So if it takes you 60 seconds to prep something or 30 seconds or 180 seconds, this will then calculate your profit based off of how long it takes you to prep things. So that way you can see what's the most profitable per hour based off of your prep time. You can even include prep instructions additionally to that, and also a link if you want them to see an SOP, a standard operating procedure, or a video on how to prep it. And so this is great for your team because whenever you're creating your shipment plans later, underneath this buy list section, you can actually see the prep guides for each individual item. And that way your team will know exactly how to prep every single thing. So again, if you don't have a local team, you can get rid of this. It does take a little bit to set it up individually, but if you do have a team, you might as well just have them go through and set all of this information up for you. That way, in the future, if you have to hire employees, then you'll have that stuff figured out for your team. All right, now let's get into the replenishment sections here. Excuse me. We've got obviously a lot of information underneath the title. So this pulls back the Amazon titles from your Amazon account. You can actually edit the titles if for whatever reason they're confusing. You can, if I just do this, it will edit it and you can just make it whatever title you want on your end. However, if you want it to restore the original title, you can click on restore and it will pull back the actual title from Amazon. Sometimes Amazon's titles can be a bit not descriptive enough, especially if you want maybe a bundle or a multi-pack. Want to have a specific title in there that will help you and your shoppers know exactly what's in there, then you can add these titles and Replen Dashboard will remember it. You can copy the ASIN. If you click on the ASIN, it will open up the Amazon product page. So you can see that information. Same with your SKU. You can copy that SKU. And if you utilize Keepa, if you have this set up and you hover over Keepa, it will pull back a Keepa chart. That is something that Keepa pulls back. It's not something Replen Dashboard is tied to, or you can just simply click on the Keepa button and it will take you to the Keepa page for that product. So that way you can do all of your analysis. You can also search by title, SKU, ASIN. So if I were to just search, let's just say for this ASIN, for instance, it'll just pull back the ASIN right away. All right. So that's how you can utilize that. The next thing here is Marketplace. If you're doing FBA or FBM, it's got both. And so you can search by either, depending on what you want to see. This little Google Lens or camera gives you the ability to search for this product on Google based off its image. And so this can be helpful for product sourcing if you're looking for more sources for that product. If you just click on this, it will pull back anything on the web pages that look like the image that's here. Now, it can be, a little, it can give you bad results sometimes depending what's in the image. If you have a pet product that also has like a golden retriever in the image, then Google might just pull back a bunch of images of golden retrievers, right? But this is just a simple feature that a lot of people have used to find new suppliers. And so we like to leave it on there as an easy way to search for new suppliers based off the product images. All right, here's where we can see a lot of data. Now, a lot of these columns here have the ability to hover and you can see more information. So this is your quantity that Amazon is showing in your account. If you hover over this, it'll show you, well, there's inbound working that you have in a shipment that you're currently working. There's inbound shipped that Amazon is waiting to get. And then there's inbound received that Amazon actually has received, but they're working on making it active. And then there's reserved items, there's sellable items, there's unsellable items. And so we calculate all of that up to give you the exact amount that you have in your account. Now, if you want to see what's sellable, we have our own column for that. So you can see that there are 6 that are sellable. So it just pulls this information out and shows that the 6 sellable are here. So it gives you the ability to see what's actually being sold right now versus, maybe what has some reserve on it, or you just shipped it in. So hopefully that helps kind of clarify that. I will also show all of these filters here. You can filter any of these columns. Actually, if you hover over this, you can see what you want to filter on. So you can do greater than or equal to, less than or equal to. You can do equal to, and you can also do not equal to. And then you can restore or reset that filter. So that applies for the majority of these columns here. We wanted to make it easy for you to just sort and filter by anything that you needed to. All right, so local inventory, this is you tracking what is at your current warehouse or at your prep center. And so you can work with your prep center to mark what's received, but if they don't want to do that, you could input all of the information as it comes through, or have a virtual assistant put in what was received by a prep center as it comes in. But if you've got your own at-home prep or your own warehouse, you can enter in everything that actually has shown up into your account. Now, whenever I do that, if I click that there's 3, you can see that then I can add in expiration dates, I can add in tax codes, I can add in conditions, costs, buy list. I can have it added to a buy list so that I can create my shipments from there. And so we do that. So it's just an easy way. As you're getting online arbitrage orders, you can add this information into local inventory, and you can add it to a buy list that then becomes your shipping information for your account. There's a lot of stuff that you can do there. Let me go ahead and just do 3, and I'll enter that, and we'll just select the date. There's actually no expiration on this, so I'm going to leave it blank. We'll leave it here as AGEN tax, but you can switch it to any tax code that makes sense that you need for your business. Condition, we'll leave that as new. Cost, I'll leave that at the same cost. And then buy list, we'll just create this buy list here. We'll use June 2024 buy list and click OK. Now that'll get added. You see that it actually moved further down. It went from up here to down here. The reason is because now that we have 3 in local inventory, it changed how many we need to purchase in our account. And so Replen Dashboard is constantly updating this information. Prior to this 3, it said that you needed 10. And since we now have 3 more, it's saying that you need 7 to keep up with your orders for 30, 60, 90, etc. days, right? But we can continue on here. I can actually see recent transactions. So I can see that, hey, there was 3 that were just added, and we can see all of the information for any changes that happen to these ASINs. Let's go ahead and click on this one, for instance. This one has shop from the Replen Dashboard app. This one is shop from the Replen mobile app, right? Because we have a mobile app that I'll be getting to. It shows you all of the adjustments in your account within Replen Dashboard, and it's super helpful. Maybe somebody selected that they purchased 10 when they meant to say that they purchased 1. You can see who made the mistake and all these other things. So really nice to have that feature, just clicking this button there. Now, buy quantity is you building up a buy list. So for instance, if you just click on this 8 here, this is just going to add all 8 to the buy quantity. Whenever it does that, you can see it automatically updates, and now it's gone, right? Because it added it to the buy quantity. I can click undo if it was a mistake, and whenever I click on undo, it pulls it back up to the top. If I say that I just wanted 2, I can do that, and you can see that it will now adjust, and now there's 2 in my buy list. Now, this buy quantity can be used for online arbitrage, but it actually works directly with our mobile app. So you can see the 2 here. They are almost instantly connected. Whenever you make changes in one or the other, they will reflect. And so we'll get into kind of how to use that more in the future. Now, these 30, 60, 90, etc. Columns, you can actually hover over this and you can see why. So there are 22 sales in the account. There are 4 pending orders. We have 9 in inventory. We're recommending 18. It's all based on your actual sales. We don't use any kind of an algorithm or anything at this point to say, well, this many days in stock and all of this stuff, because ultimately we are dealing with arbitrage and wholesale and not private label. And so arbitrage has so many fluctuating things like prices, seller count, etc., that it just becomes difficult to create an algorithm, because if a seller count goes from 5 to 30 and you sold 10 of them, Well, if you sold 10 of them in a week and we recommend that you buy 40, that can be a problem with all that increase in sellers since you last sold them. So we go strictly off your sales. We are working on building in some extra functionality behind some sort of an algorithm that you could turn on or off if you wanted to. But ultimately right now, it's just strictly based off your selling data, okay? Now, I'm just going to go through these. 30 days sold, you can see this information. Again, you can get to the columns by clicking on grid option and select what you need or what you want. For profitability, you can hover over this and see all of the buy box price, the cost, the referral fees, the FBA fees, storage, your inbound shipping fee if you set that up, and then your profit with your ROI and margin here. You can see all of that if you were to hover over ROI, profit, and then, yeah, so that's how that works. Now, you can also sort this if you just want to see items over $5 profit and over 30% ROI, then it's going to pull back all of that information. We were down to 129 rows. I could get rid of all of this, and we have over 500 rows currently. It's showing 500 rows right now. So that's how that works. It gives you the ability to really see a lot of information that you need right away. Here's your costs. You can manually change them, or you can actually import your costs. Whenever you click to upload anything, it will give you the ability to upload your costs as well as your suppliers. And so if you're using Inventory Lab or ScanPower and Boxed or some other shipping platform, then you can upload all of that information directly to Replen Dashboard, and it can be accurate from there. We're also working with integrations with some repricers and other software programs, so that will also start to pull over here in the future. Now, underneath your price, you can see this one is red. Now, the reason for the red is to tell you that your price is more expensive than the buy box, okay? So we do that as kind of an alert or a notification to you that, hey, you may want to just make sure that this is still something that you would like to purchase, that the price isn't drastically different. But here, there's no red because it's the same exact price as the buy box. So we're just trying to give you that extra bit of information. The other thing that I will point out within the profit here is you can see that it's pulling back the buy box price. And if you click into it, you can see all of the information, just a calculator. So for instance, if you were to make your price, let's just go with $50 and click on calculate, you can see that it updates that if you'd like to update that information. But I'm going to go ahead and close that. It's just a nice little calculator for you to see what the profit is based on if it were to decrease even, right? If I were to click this and it shows $47.84, well, what would it be at $40, right? I click calculate, and now I'm making $14 of profit at those ROI and margins. So that's how that works currently. And so the other thing that I want to point out with the profit here, buy box price $47.84. If I come down to the profit underneath settings and then profit, we can actually calculate all of our profitability settings. So a half or 50 cents per pound. If I want a by weight shipping rate or by item, I can switch it. Most people do by weight. So maybe you ship at 40 cents a pound or 70 cents a pound. You can put that in there, and Replen Dashboard will calculate all of your profits based off that shipping rate. You can also add in a prep center fee. If you know that it's, on average $1 per item, you can add that if you want. Same with an FBM fee for any FBM items, you can add that in. Now, here's one thing that's important. By default, we put you at sale price. Your sale price is actually what you are currently pricing your products at. However, as you saw, we had items with that red box over the inventory to section. And that means that there's a buy box or price lower than yours. And so if you're calculating it based off your price, but the buy box is $5 cheaper, then you're going to be showing a profitability that's too high in comparison to the buy box price. And so what I recommend is actually coming into here and selecting buy box price. The reason for that is because whenever you select buy box price, here, there's a nice little note. If it's suppressed, if there is no buy box, the system will use the lowest FBA. So it'll use the lowest person that you're most likely competing with. And then if there is no lowest FBA, then it will default back to your selling price or your sale price. So that's my recommendation, so that you're always looking at updated information based off the buy box. That's up to you. If you just want to see it based off your selling price, you can do that. But if you want to see it based off the competition or the buy box price, then you can also do that in here. So pretty simple to get to that. Again, settings, profit. Once you make the changes, they'll update as fast as possible. It may take a little bit depending on the size of your catalog, but ultimately that is how you can get updated pricing information. Now we've got another column here with buy box price. You can see the lowest offer, total offer. You can see the lowest FBA offer. You can also see the number of sellers. We're working on kind of putting together a nice little metric and graph to see kind of a tracking of this. But if you want to only see things underneath 10 sellers, or if you want to see things over 10 sellers, you can do all of that, right? If you want to make sure it's not equal to one seller, you can do that. So same with the sales rank. You can sort and filter however you need. You can see the categories from Amazon. By link, this is where you can see the information for OA. So if you have OA ordering links, you can put them in here. You can add multiple of them. I'm not sure if we have any in this demo account here, but I do in the other one that I'm going to be showing for the lead tracker. This is where if it's time to repurchase something for OA or even wholesale, you just click the link and it'll take you to that page. You can add it to your cart and it'll be good to go. And again, you can add multiple of those if you have more than one supplier. You can also sort by supplier if you'd like to. You can search. There's only a few in here, or you can just search by, let's just go with kilo, and it'll pull back just the Kilo Mart ones. Okay. I'm going to actually get rid of that. And now it pulls back all of the items. Store section. This is if you're doing retail arbitrage. Typically, you can either go through and actually, say that this is aisle A1 or aisle B3, because each store, like Walmart, has their own aisles. However, a lot of people may use this more like store section grocery, store section home, store section office. So that way, whenever you're out shopping and you're using the mobile app, your shoppers or yourself can sort by that store section, and you can easily shop all the items in the grocery category, or all the items in the home category, or all the items in the office category. And so that's where the store section could come in handy, is if you're doing retail arbitrage. Tax code, you can input all that information. We do that just to keep it easy for creating buy lists and your shipping lists. Notes, you can import any notes that you want. Maybe there's a discount, or maybe there's something that you want to make available here. Maybe your repricer settings, all of that you can put into the notes, and you can search the notes. Anything that's in the notes will populate whenever you type in that word, okay? For instance, maybe you did put in that instead of using the replen checkbox, you just put it into the notes. Well, if you do that and you type in replen, it'll pull back anything that has that word in it for the notes. Okay, I'm gonna go ahead and take that out. Status is active versus inactive. If you want to see only the active items or only the inactive. Same with MOQ. Your historical days of supply. This is a key metric if you are, care about any of the stuff that Amazon's doing right now to see, are you under the 28 days? Are you over the 28 days? Same with low inventory level fee. You'd be able to sort if there are any low inventory level fees that would apply to your account. So you can see the items specifically that are having issues with low inventory level fees, and then the date added there as well. Also, if there was a low inventory level fee and you hovered over the profit or ROI, it would show the low inventory level fee in here. So we do take that into consideration as well if there is one that applies to that ASIN based off whatever it is that Amazon tells us to do. So if I were trying to make a buy list that I needed to shop, I would most likely come into here and I would sort anything. Let me go ahead and clear out all the filters. I'm not sure if I have any more on here before I do that. Okay, we should be good to go. Just wanted to make sure. So what I would do is I would come here and I would most likely go to the 60-day buy column, and I would say I want to see anything that is greater than or equal to 1, and it will pull back all of that data. Additionally, I would want to see anything with over, let's just say, a 30% return on investment, greater than or equal to, and then I would probably go through and try to purchase those items. So I've got 12 rows in this demo account that shows that I need more than one thing in 60 days of selling history, and I need over 30% return on investment. So that way I know that I'm staying up to date. And this ROI is going to be based off the buy box price because I set up the profitability properly. And so that's a huge benefit to being able to just quickly sort through anything that you need. Also, if I had everything set up in my replens, and I could even go further and say, all right, well, there are only 2 replens that I can replenish. Everything else was clearance, right? So this is important. The way that you set it up comes back in a huge way in being efficient in how you replenish your inventory. But if I were to go through and I were to say, all right, well, I need 13 of these, I'm just going to go ahead and click and add all of these items as they come through. And so now I've got a bunch of things that I've added to my buy quantity. I'm going to go ahead and get rid of this, and I'm going to actually sort by anything over 1 on the buy quantity. So here are the items that I now have to buy in my business. Well, if I'm doing retail arbitrage sourcing, I can come over to the mobile app, and all of those items are right here for me to go in and purchase. They immediately changed. If I were to come up here and I get rid of this smart keypad, let me just make it 1 instead of 2. I do that, let that update. You can see now it's switched to 1. So it's an immediate change. If you just go to mobile.replendashboard.com, you're able to keep that on your phone. It works very well with the desktop version. All right. Additionally, if you're doing online arbitrage, you don't care about the mobile app as much. Well, you could create your buy list, come over here, and if you have all of your buy links put in here for online arbitrage, you just simply click that link, go there, add the product to your cart, and purchase items as needed. All right. So that's how you work the inventory section. Before I get to the lead tracker section, I'm going to see if there are any questions, just so that I can then get into the lead tracker and also the mobile app a little bit more. All right, let's see. There are a few comments here. Someone, Nilton asked, does it integrate with Inventory Lab? Currently, it doesn't integrate, like there's no connection. However, if you were to export all of your inventory and then import it into Replen Dashboard for the costs, the suppliers, etc., then yes, you can do that in less than 2 or 3 minutes with Inventory Lab. Additionally, with your shipping, I'll get to that in a minute as well, but we have the ability to create shipping lists or buy lists that you can then upload into Inventory Lab. And so if you've got a whole list of items that were purchased on Replen Dashboard, you can export that and import it into your Inventory Lab or ScanPower shipping creation software, and then it will create the shipments for you. Okay, so it doesn't integrate in that we talk to each other as software programs, but it integrates in that you can just easily export and import things in less than a couple minutes. And we have onboarding videos for that too. So if you have any questions, you can ask support at replendashboard.com and we can make sure to get you those videos. Another question from Miguel, can you create MSKUs from Replen Dashboard? You actually can't create MSKUs. We don't do anything where we are changing data on Amazon's side at this point. And so you can't create it, but it does pull back all of the SKUs for you. Now, you can create an internal SKU whenever you're doing the bundles or multi-pack builder, as I showed you. If it's not an ASIN on Amazon, you can create an internal SKU if it was like your unique item. But that is one thing that you can do, but it doesn't talk with Amazon in that way. Let's see. I probably have some questions here on Facebook. Let's see. Jeremy James, I had a second to stop by. Been using Replen Dashboard for 3+ years, and I couldn't run my business without it. It's a great investment. Well, glad to hear that, Jeremy. Thank you so much. Appreciate your friendship too, Jeremy. You're an awesome guy. Byron asks, will Replen Dashboard work with Kang's The System? All right. So for any of you that don't know, there's another software out there in the My Silent Team community. It's called The System or 3P Mercury. This is going to be coming out here in the next 6 months or so. There's a beta group going through. The System and Replen Dashboard have very similar tool sets. There's probably about 60 or 70% overlap. I typically say that there's going to be things that we're the best at and things that they're the best at, and hopefully in the future we're hoping to integrate in some way, which would be great. There's 2 different philosophies. We pull only Amazon data. They're pulling Keepa data. Now, the reason we pull only Amazon data is because we know that Amazon doesn't allow you to pull Keepa data and mix the two, because once you get to a certain size, they just won't allow you to have that access to both. And so we choose to be on the Amazon side of things and to not integrate with Keepa or other API programs. However, there are software programs that pull Keepa data and just stay away from Amazon, and they run based off of the Keepa API. So they're going to be different philosophies and different use cases. We've been around for 4+ years. Millions and millions of ASINs are tracked through our software program. We've gone through the beta side of things. We're continually updating them. Where the system is new, it's been used by a lot of great sellers, and they're continuing to build in new stuff that we may already have. Ultimately, they're both great software programs, and it just depends on what you want to use now or in the future, because it's not publicly available yet. On the system, Replen Dashboard is. And so in the future, you can hopefully have a connection between the two of them. That's what we're hoping to build. But right now, they're just a little bit different, but also very similar in some of their features. So we'll see how that continues to play out, and we'll continue serving our customers well, and they will continue to serve their customers well also. All right, I think that covers the questions. Let me make sure. Okay, cool. The next thing, let's go ahead and get into the mobile app really quick. I want to just make sure that I cover this for any retail arbitrage shoppers out there. As you can see, you've got the shopping list that I already mentioned. You can pull over from Replen Dashboard whenever you're creating this. But if I were to come in here and actually say, hey, you know what? I bought this one thing. There is no expiration date. This tax code's correct. The cost is here. I'm going to add this to a certain buy list. I'm actually going to add it to June 2024, the one that we mentioned earlier. If I don't want it on that, I can create a new buy list if I wanted to do so. I'm just going to add it to June 2024, click OK, and then add to local inventory. Now, whenever I do that, because it's zeroed out, there is nothing left in the buy list for me to purchase, okay? But if I go back to Replen Dashboard, you can see that item just disappeared. That's because I purchased it. If I go to my buy lists and I click into June 2024, you can see that that item is now here. And so it automatically, very quickly updates that information for us. And so that's a huge, huge piece of being able to use Replen Dashboard. Now, an X out of that, I can also see items here that I have updated. So if for some reason I wanted to delete that, you can delete this information. If I clicked on delete, and it should add it back here to my buy list now, my shopping list, if I accidentally, made a mistake and purchased that item. And then let me come back to Replen Dashboard. Now you can see it's at 0 and the buy quantity is back to 1. And underneath the buy list, let's make sure that that has been removed. If I click into this, now you can see it went from 1 and then -1. So whenever you export it, it will, if I click consolidate purchases for the same SKU, you can see that it shows 0 now. All right. So it's how that works. Pretty simple. We're just showing you all of how, you added something, you removed something, so you can see that data in case there are any mistakes. All right. The other thing that you can see underneath the mobile app is your inventory. So if you were like, hey, I'm in a store, I really wanted to add this item and I forgot to do that, you can add it to buy quantity of something that you wanted to purchase. Let's just go with 2. And I'll do that. And we should be good here. And go back to the shopping list. Now you can see that there are 2 there. And so it just works really well if you wanted to add something to your inventory. You can also click on the Keep a button to see the Keep a chart in your mobile app. So ton of functionality here, depending on what you're looking to do. You can even update the store section. So if you're someone doing retail arbitrage and you're just going through all your inventory, you can update that store section. Let's just call this, what is this thing? It is a desktop processor. Let's call it electronics. And click here. Now it should set the store section. Let's see. I haven't tested this in a while, so I'm just curious. If I go over to store section for our retail arbitrage shopping, let's just sort it. See if it pulls back. Yep, you can see electronics here. So it did pull that information back for this particular item. So very simple, easy to use. They talk with each other and they work very well together. Dashboard is something that we are continually working on to get a good dashboard for the mobile app as well. All right. Let me click on this too. This is where you can see all your buy lists, by the way. So you can see your active ones and you can see what's in there. You can also see any archived buy lists, and you can go in here and archive or delete buy lists if you don't need them anymore. So simple to use. Hopefully, if you've got any questions, post them in the Facebook group or in the YouTube channel, and we'll be sure to answer them here towards the end. All right, let's get into the lead tracker. Now, this is powerful. Now, again, this is a demo account, so there's nothing in here, but I'm going to just show you how this works right now. Essentially, it's the same exact columns currently. We're working on having some different columns in each inventory versus lead tracker, but you can move these around as well if you don't care to see them. Or if you want to see certain things. But as you add items to lead tracker, let's just click on this. You can add individual ASINs. So let's say you're sourcing, you're doing online arbitrage, and you're just adding individual ASINs as they come through to your lead tracker because you're not going to purchase them just yet. I recommend adding things between 0% up to your minimum return on investment. The reason is if it hits your minimum return on investment, you're probably going to test the product and sell it. But if it's underneath your minimum return on investment, you still source the product. You still have an item that may be at 20% return on investment, but in the future, it can change to 40 or 50%, or maybe you get a discount and it allows you to now purchase that much more profitably. So if you can store up a database of leads, this can become a sourcing system for you to utilize in your business that it will completely separate you from the rest of the sellers on Amazon, right? And so you can add items individually, or you can actually import items. And whenever you click to import, you can see that the maximum number of leads is 5,000 that you can import at one time, but you can store over 100,000 leads in here if you wanted, and if you were in the right pricing plan for that. So we've got pricing from The brand new sellers is $7 per month for up to 10,000 leads or $10,000 in sales per month. The $47 per month is 50,000 leads or $50,000 in sales per month. And the $97 is up to 100,000 leads or no cap on the amount of revenue that you're doing. All right. If you go over 100,000 leads, then there is a contact us page and we'll work out something with you that makes sense so you can track more and more leads. And so this is where you'd be able to upload these things. A lot of people may be using a lead list service, whether you're using like OHEader, or you're using another service that exists out there. Maybe you're in the Legends community and you're getting your free leads each and every day and you're uploading those to the tracker. Maybe you have just old leads lists from virtual assistants or leads that you have on a Google Doc that you would like to start tracking. All of these things can be uploaded. You may have thousands already, depending on how long you've been doing this. And so you can simply just import that. You can click to upload something and it will give me that ability to do so. So whenever you click to upload an item, it will just give you the ability to add the ASIN, add the costs, and anything else that you may need there too. Okay. So that's how that works. Very simple, easy to use. I'll show you this in the other account here. You can see we've got 32,000 leads in this other demo account for us. And now if I wanted to go ahead and sort by items at, let's just go with supplier, I'm going to do Vitacost just for the sake of doing that. And so we'll enter that. Now it's only Vitacost right now. You can see it went from 32,000 to 159 rows. Whoop, 159 rows here down at the bottom. If I can zoom in, yep. So 32,000 rows became 159. And then I could sort by number of sellers. Maybe I want to see sellers that are less than, let's just say less than 10. Then I can do that. I want to see everything that has less than 10 sellers. I could do greater than or equal to, let's just go with 5 sellers. If I wanted to check out things that I knew had some arbitrage opportunities, I could also then sort by ROI. Maybe I want to see everything that is greater than or equal to 30%. Now I'm down to 135 rows. Or maybe I just wanted to see things, whoop, I'm clicking on too many things right now. Maybe I just want to see things that are greater than 60% return on investment and greater than $10 profit. And now I'm down to 61 rows. So this is the power of taking 32,000 leads down to 128 rows at a specific supplier. And you can see here, we've got links. Now, these links are updated by you. So if for whatever reason, maybe the page was removed or something has changed and they're inaccurate, then it may not open up that page anymore. I'm just going ahead and click through this. Let's see if it does open up something right here. It may have been removed. No, it still exists. Price is $14.56 for this product. Let's see if it still is. Now the cost has changed, right? So if you have old leads from 3 or 4 years ago, then you're going to have to update the cost as you go through this. $14.56. Click into that. And now the profit is actually $11.94 based off the current buy box price of $27.90 for that product. That's pretty cool, right? So that's where you can purchase it. That's how you can utilize it. Now in the future, we're hoping to add some more opportunities to quickly update costs and things, maybe through a Google Chrome extension or otherwise. But ultimately, this is very simple to use once you import items. It does take a little bit to update because if you've got thousands and thousands of leads, so if you've got 100, it won't take much time at all. But if you've got thousands upon thousands, it will take a little bit to update all of this data and everything for you. Additionally, you can even have lead source. So if you are using a lead list service, you can actually say this is from OHEader or this is from the Legends community. Or if you have VAs and you want to track it by VAs, then you can track each lead by each individual virtual assistant. You can also, let's see, track, you got supplier as well as buy link. So for whatever reason, you don't have the supplier, but you only have the buy link. If I remove that, I could actually go into here and search Vitacost, and it should still pull back anything with that word in it for those buy links. And you can add more if you want multiple buy links for the items that you're looking at. So I'll go ahead and remove that. So that's how this works. Very simple from a lead tracking standpoint. Again, you can move any of these columns that you want, and you can, just reset any of the sizes. You can also, if you wanted to make these bigger, you can do that for whatever reason. So if you want to reset the sizes, you can do so up there. All right. So that's how the lead tracker works. Very simple, whether you want to do individual additions or you wanted to import a whole entire list. Okay. Let me see if there are any questions real quick. and we'll go from there. I know the lead tracker is something a lot of people were excited about, being that it's only $7 a month for the new account if you want up to 10,000 leads or $10,000 in sales per month, or 47 or 97 a month, depending on the other levels that you're at. There are 30-day free trials, so if you haven't gotten your trial yet, you can get the 30-day free trial, and it will put you into the level that makes sense for you based off either leads updated or your monthly sales amount. So hopefully, if there are any questions, let's go ahead and get here. Takunbo asked, is this recorded? Yes, this is recorded. It's on YouTube, it's on Facebook, and so all of that you can go back and watch later. Jana said, thank you so much for doing this webinar. I've had Replen Dashboard for some time, but never took the time to figure it out. This is one of the missing links to my business that I know will help immensely. Awesome. I'm glad to hear that, Jana. Yeah, from the lead standpoint, this is a no-brainer. If you can the reason that we're doing this, right? A lot of you came from the Proven Conference and saw my presentation, or even from my silent team and saw my presentation on building 5,000 leads in a year. The ability to change your perspective on sourcing of not how many perfect leads can I find that I want to test. Maybe I'm looking for one an hour that meet certain profitability and certain return on investment and a good keep it chart. Well, if I can just change my idea of, all right, that's great, I want to find those, but how can I also collect all this data while I'm sourcing so I'm not wasting any time, right? All these leads that are 20, 30% return on investment, they may not be perfect yet, but they could be in 6 months from now, because you're tracking the updated buy box prices in real time and a discount code comes out or something changes in the listing. It's a huge benefit, right? So the way to use the lead tracker, real quick, if there are any other questions, go ahead and post them. But the way to use this lead tracker isn't just, oh, cool, I can just sort by whatever is in profit and ROI. It's also considering, well, let's say Vitacost came out with a 25% off coupon that could be applied to the whole order. Well, I could come through then and look for anything over 10% return on investment, because I know that that 10% is now going to turn into 35, 40% of a return on investment with that discount. So it may not be a replenishable product, but I'd like the money, right? I'd like to be able to buy that, send it in, and make some money on it. Or I can just check this weekly and I can come through and see, well, what prices have changed, maybe what amount of buy box or what amount of sellers have changed as well, that now makes it less competitive. You can do that with the lead tracker and with the inventory section. So if you're sourcing at Vitacost, for instance, and you're buying products, we'll go back to your inventory section and see if you need to replenish anything from Vitacost, especially with a discount maybe that you got, or a discounted gift card, right? There's so much power to being able to use these leads. And so I just wanted to point that out, that this is, if the software was just lead tracking, I believe that it'd be more than worth the pricing plans. But we also have inventory. We also have the ability to create buy lists. We also have the ability for the mobile app. We also have the ability to track all of your closed listings. If you've closed things on Amazon side, we will track your closed listings here. So that way you don't lose that data, and you can see maybe something's better now for you to go back and sell. And we have multi-packs and bundles and other things too. So let's go ahead and take a look back at this demo account. Underneath the closed listing, it will pull back any closed listings from Amazon. If you were to go through and close them on your Seller Central, we would keep that data for you. It should also store your deleted listings, but if there's ever any issues with that, you can always add them back to the lead tracker. The closed side, I know, has been working 100% well. The deleted side sometimes is hit and miss. And so if you do delete something and Amazon just completely wipes it from your account, then we won't have any data to pull from that. But you can add that item back to the lead tracker if you think it's something you purchase in the future. I will point out, from a help standpoint, you can just click on this button down here for support. And that button, you can open up a ticket. Whenever you click on that, you can actually see some instant answers based off of maybe some common things or some issues that come up. And so if you've got a question, you can always type in that question for, what is local inventory or something like that, and it'll pull back an answer for you. But if you have to ask the support team, you can click on ask and click, to email or to start a conversation with them. Or you can also email support@replendashboard.com. Now, I will say, for anybody that wants to join our Facebook group, we've got, I think, almost or over 2,000 members. I'm not sure where we're at anymore, maybe 1,500. But if you're watching this on YouTube or some other place, then facebook.com/groups/Replen Dashboard will bring you to the page to join, so you can ask for support. You can see how other people are using it, etc. and post your success stories if you got some, right? The other thing that I'll get into now are buy lists. So as you saw, I was adding things to this June 2024 buy list. You can search for buy list names if you needed to. You can also archive, see any of your archived buy lists. All of that is fairly simple to access. But whenever I click on June 2024, I can see what was added and removed. I can actually generate a prep guide if I am someone that uses the features of Replen Dashboard that I covered earlier. And whenever I click on Generate Prep Guide, it will open up those items and what things that I had in the prep guide, if any, right? If I don't use the prep guide feature, then ultimately there's not going to be anything here. It's going to not have any data. And so if you're using it, then this is a huge help for your team to be able to prep the items properly. Now, if you also want to download, you can click to download the buy list. And I'm going to click, no, I don't want to archive it, but then it will download this information that I can then import into Inventory Lab or something else. You can also click on here to download the shipping plan. So if you're using Seller Central only for your shipments, you can download a shipping plan template and upload that to Seller Central. All right. Now it's not as smooth as using, Inventory Lab or Boxed with Scan Power. But if you are someone that just does Seller Central shipments, then this can help you to quickly create those shipments using the shipping template file. And then lastly, you can also email this. So maybe you have a prep center or a warehouse email that you have to send things to. You just click on the email button and it will email it to whoever you tell it to. All right. And you can also see in here who purchased these things if you set that up. Now, I will point out underneath the settings here, you've got the ability to see, you can invite users. And so we've got some demo ones here, but ultimately you can add as many users as you want. We don't want to restrict your ability to grow your team. We don't charge you for having more users. You could have 20 shoppers on here that all have their own little account. That way you can track who is buying stuff or who is adding leads. And so that's easy to do. Just click on this plus button and it will walk you through adding a user. Additionally, you can also add custom ASIN shortcuts. Let's say you want to click on a button that sends you to your repricer, right? For that particular ASIN. Well, you can create that by, let's say you use Aura as a repricer, go to Aura, look up what the link is for that ASIN, and all you have to do is click on this plus button and it will help you create a shortcut that you just click a button and it will pull you over to that other software program. Maybe it's Inventory Lab and you want it to open up a specific page in Inventory Lab. Very simple, easy to do. And so if you're looking for that functionality, you can do it. Again, underneath the inventory settings, actually, this is another place that you can get to that grid options to show or hide columns. You can always do things that are always on the buy list. So if you're doing retail arbitrage sourcing and you know that anytime your shoppers are outsourcing for products that you want them to see and purchase this product, to always look for it, you can add a SKU or an ASIN to always buy that if you want it. Some people use it, some people don't. It's a small use case, but I think it's pretty cool that you can always have that on your buy list if you want to make sure your shoppers are always looking for it. And then again, the do not show section here. Now you can also see show or hide inventory if you want to show, or you can hide it as well. I'm going to go ahead and click show again so that it's doing that. You can show notification of actions, all these things that pop up there. If you want to see any of these actions, then you can turn them on or off. I believe that's strictly for the inventory side whenever you make any changes here. Profitability we covered. Your account information would be your account information, payment information as well. And we also talked about multi-packs and bundles and how that works on a high level. If you want more in-depth use cases for how to do that, you can, again, ask support or look for some of our onboarding videos for how to set up your multi-packs and bundles. All right. I think that covers it. Let me go ahead and stop sharing my screen. Are there any questions at all? I want to be sure that I get to the questions because obviously we're here not just for the demo, but also for the Q&A. Would love to be able to help in any way that I can. So I'll give it just a minute. I'm going to actually take a drink real quick so that my voice can recover. And if you've got questions, please post them. And actually also let me know if you don't have any questions. Just let me know if this was helpful. Post that in the comments because I want to make sure that this is helpful. Let's see. Neil asked, does the dashboard work in the UK? So unfortunately, Neil, currently it does not work in the UK. It works in Canada, Mexico, and in the US. We are working on integrations for the UK. We're also working on integrations for Walmart. So that way you can keep up to date with any inventory you may need with Walmart, but that's, a little bit further down the line. Takunbo said, yes, this was very helpful. Okay, awesome. Glad to hear that. Well, if there's any questions that do come up, again, I will point out that we have the Replen Dashboard Facebook group. You can obviously, if it's something that's account specific, like maybe some data isn't showing, or you're trying to figure out where something is that you've added, then you can reach out to support. Go to support@replendashboard.com, or you can go to the little help bubble that I showed. But if you're looking for how do I use Replen Dashboard in this way, or there's some suggestions of how we can learn from one another, I recommend going to that Facebook group and just posting in there, because we try to help as much as possible. Again, if you ask an account specific question, like something isn't loading for me, we will direct you to support. That way you're getting the right support. You're not having everything public for your private information. But ultimately, if you've got questions for usability of lead tracker or something like that, please post them in that group. We're happy to help in any way we can. Janice said, extremely helpful. Thank you again. Yes, you're welcome. Happy to do it. All right. Well, if I'm not seeing any other questions, then we'll go ahead and wrap this one up. If you'd like to see anything else, please reach out to us. If you would like more in-depth training on something, please let me know. If there's something that maybe I missed as you're getting through and working with the program. Ultimately, Replen Dashboard isn't just here anymore for inventory management. We're here for lead tracking. We're here for shipping. We're here for all kinds of stuff. And in the future, you're going to see a lot of cool changes, not changes, but like user interface becoming better selling metrics in terms of finances. You're going to see more things for OA order tracking and some other stuff that we've got in the works. So excited to be here with everybody and hope you all enjoy it. And if you need anything, please reach out. Thank you, everyone.